Hello everyone, myself Adarsh. Today I'm presenting you the demo of how to blink your name in Morse code using GUI. First, let's look at the task objective. As you can see, we need to build a GUI which has a text box and a button. The text box will allow the user to enter a word of maximum 12 characters, and when the user presses this button, then our LED will blink his name in Morse code pattern. For the given task, we are using Raspberry Pi 4, some jumper wires, LED and breadboard. For software, we need Raspberry OS installed and real VNC to remotely control our Raspberry Pi in our desktop, which we have set up in previous task. Now let's look at the Morse code. As from the previous task, we know Morse code is representation of characters using dots and dashes. As you can see in this chart, I have defined what are the given representation of characters in dots and dashes. Now let's look at the circuit diagram. Here I'm using pin 6 for ground and GPIO 14 for powering my LED. This is a very basic circuit which consists of only one LED and a connection between ground and a GPIO pin. Now let's look at the code. First we will import all necessary libraries including Tkinter for GUI, rpi.gpio as GPIO for GPIO control, GPIO0 for LED control and time. Here I have initialized button pressed as false, and I've also used GPIO.setWarnings false, which is a basic statement so that no warnings are shown on our display. Then we are going to set up our GPIO pins. As you can see here, I have configured pin 14 to control my LED. After that, I have created a dictionary named Morse code where I have defined every character and its representations in dots and dashes. After that, I have defined a function named text to Morse. This function will convert a given text into Morse code. It will iterate over each character and convert it to uppercase and look up for it in Morse code representation in our dictionary. After that, I have created a blink Morse code function. This function will retrieve the input text from the GUI and convert it to Morse code using the text to Morse code function and blink the LED accordingly. It will blink LED in the form of dots and dashes. After that, there is a function called callback. The callback function is associated with the blink input button. When the button is pressed, it triggers the blink Morse code function. After that, I have defined a close function which will be used to clean up GPIO settings and close the GUI window when the exit button is pressed. Now I am creating GUI. We are creating first a GUI window using Tkinter. It will first include a title label which will consist of the text blinking Morse code which will be displayed on the top of our window. After that, a text will be displayed such as enter a word max 12 characters, which will initiate the user to enter a word of maximum 12 characters. After that, we are creating a label called entry which will display our text box. After that, there is a label called button which will call the callback function which we have created earlier and check if the button is pressed or not. If the button is not pressed, Then the button pressed will be set to true and blink Morse code function will be called out. And then to make our code used repetitively, we will set our button press to false again, which will help us to use our code again and again to enter name and display it in the Morse code representation. After that, we have an exit button which will call the close function which we have created earlier. As you can see, after creating each label, we are adding it to our display by using dot pack. This will tell our ticketer to add it to our widget screen. After that, win.main loop. It will help to run the loop forever. Now let's look at the video demonstration of this task. Thank you.